All right, welcome back to the new Sentinel. Vinnie Morelli in the chair, and tonight we're breaking down something everybody senses, but not everybody names. How the rights they taught you about in civics class get whittled away, not with a bang, but with a stack of paperwork or a nervous politician's signature. Ranger, you remember when you could call a lawyer before anybody even looked at your shoelaces sideways? Nowadays, you get a national security letter and suddenly due process is just a rumor.
Yeah, Vinny, and I mean, this isn't just old man yells at cloud stuff. Look, after 9/11, there was real fear, but what came out of that? The Patriot Act. Broad surveillance, mass data collection. Stuff that would have sounded like a conspiracy theory in the 90s is just federal routine now. And the kicker is, if you try to question it, there's always that line, "We're keeping you safe." Snowden blew the whistle on that. Suddenly, we all had to look in the mirror and ask, is my privacy on the table?
That's what I'm saying. Power don't care about comfort. Give them a crisis, and they'll write a blank check on your rights. Let me tell you about a little New York trick, stop and frisk. Sounds innocent, except the city council slid that through back channels. Suddenly, cops are patting down guys on corners because someone in a suit said it's good for public safety. But you want to walk free on those blocks? Better hope you got a cousin who works zoning with the council, or just keep your head down. The streets remember what the courts forget. That's always true.
Yeah, and that's a pattern, right? You pass a law for the people, slap enough fear on it, and nobody blinks as the old freedoms shrink. A lot of folks don't even realize what's gone until, well, the knock comes on their own door. It's like the old frog in the boiling pot, but with subpoenas and surveillance vans.
Exactly. And if you try to fight that in court, good luck. The rules changed while you were watching cable news and eating cannoli. Power respects power, Ranger. The rest is just paperwork for suckers.
That kind of maneuvering, it's not just about bending the rules. Sometimes, it's about breaking them, right out in the open. You take something like Operation Greylord in Chicago. Judges taking straight-up cash to fix outcomes. That stuff doesn't just break the law. It breaks the whole idea of trust people need for the system to work. I mean, when you know the game's rigged, why play by the rules in the first place?
That's what I call a crooked sit-down, Ranger. See, it ain't just one judge making a quick buck. It's a league of shadows, each one covering for the other, betting you won't notice your wallet's lighter. You control who gets the envelope. You control the verdict. That's the real power. Let's talk recent, executive slick moves. You ever see a president just pick and choose which laws to enforce? Selective stuff, immigration rules, defense spending, you name it. And then you got Trump pulling the national emergency card to build his wall, moving money around like a street hustler does fake watches down by the docks.
Yeah, and I'll give you another angle. When you let executive power run unchecked, it creates all these loopholes where, basically, the rulebook's just a menu. If you're holding the pen, you write the special. Executive orders, emergency powers, they're supposed to be rare, not business as usual. It stops being about principles, starts being about who's got leverage this week.
Listen, Machiavelli had it down cold. Power respects power. The rest is just window dressing for the press. Every system's got a way to finesse the outcome. Some use bribed judges, some got lobbyists with thicker wallets than the jury box. Real justice? That's a fairy tale for people who never had to call in a favor or watch a deal get torched because someone changed the rules mid-game.
And the worst part, people see it. They feel it. Just like you said with the streets. They know, even if they can't put their finger on every technical detail. It eats at public trust, makes every legit win look suspect. This isn't just history, Vinny. We covered this when we talked about corruption inside, like in those episodes on building national strength. Erosion doesn't announce itself. It leaks in, drips down until the foundation's rotten.
Ain't that the truth? You want to clean it up? You got to know who's pulling the strings and make sure you're holding a pair of scissors, not just sit there hoping the chorus in the courthouse sings on key.
Let's turn to what's supposed to keep all this in check. Congress, courts, oversight hearings, all that jazz. On paper, you've got checks and balances. Judicial review, Legislative oversight. All right, that's the theory. But gerrymandering and filibustering? Turns those checks into a toothless watchdog. I mean, you carve up a voting district just right, and suddenly, accountability's out the window. The minority protections, supposed to make the game fair, get kicked to the curb when politics comes first.
Shelby County Verholder, there's a name the bookworms go quiet about. That one handed state legislatures the keys to mess with Voting Rights Act protections. Wasn't about justice, it was about who gets to draw the lines. So now you got places chipping away at federal oversight, making it that much easier to sideline voters they don't like. Paper shields, Ranger, just paper shields. Everyone talks about them. Nobody trusts them after the smoke clears.
Vinny, I keep thinking about your old saying. If you want justice, go to church. If you want results, well, say what you want, but people notice when a judge rubber stamps a raid warrant without reading a word of the affidavit. Your uncle's story wasn't unique. Seen plenty like it.
Yeah, my uncle's legitimate business gets raided. Judge barely looked at the paper. City wanted a headline, not the truth. That's the lesson. The system was built to check itself, but every time someone finds a shortcut, a loophole, or just a bored judge, the whole thing starts to wobble. Checks and balances, looks nice in school books. Out here in the real world, you better bring your own leverage if you want to survive the game.
And that's the warning, folks. The system's only as strong as the people holding it accountable. And that means all of us. If you give up, you get played. Simple as that. Appreciate y'all for listening. Keep your heads up and your radars on. There's always another move on the board.
All right, Ranger. Always a pleasure sparring with you. Let's keep these lessons coming. Next time, who knows whose game we'll be breaking down. Till then, don't outshine the capo, and don't play fair with people who write the rules in pencil. Good night, folks.